And here we are into Game 2 of TCC versus YLTP in this Match 1 of the HoN Tour Season Playoffs Group C. Now these are double elimination, of course, so whoever loses this match will end up going to the losers match and then potentially onto the consolation match if they were to win that. And of course each group will produce two teams that go to the second group stages, a high seed and a low seed. That would be the winner of the winners match and the winner of the consolation match. So both of these teams are obviously hoping not to be relegated to the losers bracket so early. And I did look it up because I mentioned it during the last game. YLTP is actually the highest seed in this match, and TCC is the lowest seed. And YLTP got knocked out last Diamond Cycle 10 by Team Kage in the losers bracket, so they dropped to the losers bracket playing against BMG in the round of 8, and then lost to TCOG in a 3-game series. And losing Game 1 here to TCC, that's certainly unexpected, considering their presence right now. They're the 6th overall seed in the HoN Tour standing, so that's certainly a little strange. Like, you wouldn't expect a team, the top seed really here, to be going down 0-1 against the low seed. But that is what we have. So they're going to have to take 2 games in a row here in order to prevent falling from the losers bracket to the losers bracket, excuse me. And certainly that would be an unexpected outcome for them at this point. But the bans are available: Pestilence, Grenix, Engineer, and Ophelia. So Oph getting a ban once more. Cersei left alone. We very often see the Grenix ban as well, so those aren't surprising. Engie ban a little interesting, as he used to be first ban material, hasn't been so much anymore, but apparently TCC feeling like they don't want to give up the Engineer, and certainly no problems with that. Same thing with Pesty. We see him banned fairly often. Not very consistently, but it's not really inconsistent either, as apparently TCC not interested in picking up that Pestilence first pick, and therefore not wanting to give it to YLTP. So pretty standard bans for the most part. Engineer is the only one we don't see all the time, but certainly that's not unexpected that he would be banned out here. Meanwhile, the picks: Kraken, Bubbles, and Tempest for TCC, so lots of AoE team fight here. Of course, 3 ultimates that work very well in team fights. Not a huge amount of push so far. Of course, Tempest Elementals will give you quite a bit, so will Bubble, Shell Surf. But no hero that's really dedicated. I am an extremely strong pushing hero. Tempest is sort of halfway there, but I really wouldn't consider him an extremely strong pusher, just honestly for no other reason than because the Elemental's move speed is really slow, and they don't take out creep waves that fast. They do some damage to towers, but you sort of have to make sure your timing is right if you want to spawn 6 Elementals and have them be attacking a tower for a significant amount of time. You have to get the creep wave in just the right position so they can split at the right time, and then you have to be just in front of the tower because it takes a while for them to walk up the lane. So certainly I don't expect that to be a big problem here for the TCC side, but no question it can be an issue for some Tempest players. Notable: YLTP not picking up a jungler yet, Wretched Hag, Slither, and Gauntlet. So far TCC has their jungler in Tempest, and we'll see if YLTP wants to counter that with a Parasite or a Keep of the Forest, or something offbeat like a War Beast, maybe a Blood Hunter. Wild Soul is an option. Almost certainly we won't see those, especially if they're especially in the jungle, but it's possible. They are jungle heroes. But their picks also very teamfight oriented, with the Bat Blast and Slither ultimate. Gauntlet a little less so, but still does do quite a bit in teamfights. With the hook in, he can mess with his opponent's positioning or save a teammate. Gauntlet Blast, if you line it up correctly, can hit multiple heroes. And then of course the Infernal Instability doing a lot to increase his move speed, do some burst damage, that sort of thing. And the Enfeeble actually is quite annoying too. So all 3 of those heroes there doing fairly well in team fights. A little stronger on the gank, with both Hag and Gauntlet providing some pretty serious burst damage and being able to initiate from far away and screw with their opponent's positioning with that Gauntlet hook. So decently strong there, and not bad on the pushing side. Sonar Scream, Poison Words, pretty decent. Infernal Instability will clear creep waves. Their biggest issue here is tower damage. They're not going to take towers very fast. Poison Words do a little bit, but really not very much at all. So They're mostly, so far, going to be able to siege towers with auto attacks, and that obviously could turn into a problem. So not too much push on either side. A little more team fight here for the Legion, I think, than the Hellborn. It is notable, of course, that Hellborn have far and away to carry. And, I mean, just Wretched Hag and Slither both will out-carry anybody on this Legion side so far, so Legion probably looking for a short laner. Presumably Bubbles or Kraken will be running the Suicide, and the other one will be running the mid, so they're probably looking for a short laner and definitely for a support here. Rhapsody's still available, and there it is. So that's a little interesting that she'd be able to make it through the picking stage, considering, I guess, YLTP is going to need support too. They have Cersei, they have Empath, Illuna, Amphora, plenty of support options available, as the bans are Andromeda, Parasite, and Rally from the Legion side, Moon Queen, Dark Lady, and Puppet Master from the Hellborn side. Of course, Puppet Master played last game to great effect by TCC. So YLTP clearly trying to limit the short lane carry options of TCC. They still have Gemini, they still have Sandrake, they still have Corrupted Disciple, they still have Chronos. So they do take out a few of the popular ones. Interesting that they take out Dark Lady over something like a Gemini or a Sandrake, because we don't see her played that often, and to be honest, I think she needs a little too much farm. She's certainly a strong carry, but I think more of a second-tier carry. She's not able to get active quite as early as some of the other carries are, and as a result, I don't think she's quite as powerful. And then, of course, the Puppet Master banned out, as TCC played that in the carry role last time, did very well with it, so certainly a sensible ban there. And the Andro, Parasite, and Rally banned out here by the Legion side, so Keeper of the Forest is still available if YLTP wants to run a jungler, and with the Master of Arms pickup, they can certainly still do that. Of course, Master of Arms almost certainly going to play the support role. Swiftblade is going to be the last pick here for the Legion side. That was unexpected. That's pretty much going to guarantee a babysit Rhapsody and bot with Swift, and that could be fairly powerful, actually, with the Scottish Stuns on top of the spin. That's going to be a fair bit of lockdown, some pretty solid damage, and I think at this point, really, as Tempest comes in, even more lockdown, but I would guess at this point we're going to see a Suicide Bubbles and a solo mid Kraken. You could also see Rhapsody dual lane with the Kraken, but I really suspect we're going to see her in bot with Swiftblade, just because now that we have a second support coming out from YLTP, I can't imagine they're going to put a true Suicide down there. It could, of course, be Hag still. Of course, if it is Night EU, he's pretty much the carry player, so I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think it's also very possible we see a tri-lane here, so... Oh, Majestics is on that Hag, so that is going to be a Suicide Hag. And now I'm thinking 2-2-1 strats, so I'm guessing Gauntlet, Master of Arms, Middle, Torturer, Slither top, and Suicide, Wretched Hag, which is certainly a solid lineup. And if that ends up being the case, I think Rhapsody will hang bot for a while, get Swiftblade and advantage in the lane, and then go middle, because while Kraken is a very strong defensive mid, so he should be relatively okay when it comes to hanging out in his lane, getting some experience, despite being up 2v1. He won't be able to do that forever, possibly, so eventually a transition from Rhapsody could be very powerful. And of course, getting kills on Hag with Swifty is not an easy thing to do. You basically need to have your phase boots really fast, so that when she blinks you can catch up to her, and you might even need to hit level 6, because you might need the Swift Slashes by the time you... Oh. So this is finally us ready into the second part of the game, as actually this is back to being slightly annoying, so... This info panel, I do want that. But I'm sorry about that, so it took a second. I had to do some fixes because this replay was not the correct length, and it just stopped after the drafting phase, which happens every so often with older stuff, and then there's patches and things go crazy. But we were just finished discussing the Legion side, so let's move on to the Hellborn, as it looks like they're actually going to be running an aggressive tri-lane here with Gauntlet, Torturer, and Master of Arms, which is weird, and I don't really like it. If this is going to be a babysit Rhapsody for the Swiftblade, it's going to be a little difficult, I think, for... Well, they certainly will have burst damage enough to kill Swifty, or Rhapsody for that matter. Definitely Rhapsody, obviously. The only concern I have is Gauntlet's a little awkward in the tri-lane, I think, just because since his hook hits other heroes, and it is not exactly the easiest thing to land, it isn't targeted, you hit that E button and it throws it out, so you sort of be facing the right direction. you have to be extremely careful about your positioning, and it looks like Torturer's headed mid a little bit, which I like even less, but so I'm not a huge fan of this tri-lane coming out here from YLTP. I think if you're going to run a tri-lane, it makes the most sense to put Slither in it. And then you can certainly run aggressive if you'd like to, but it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to put Gauntlet in that tri-lane. Not only does he have some issues possibly with targeting, but he also likes levels. So he's going to be a little under-leveled here unless they get a lot of kills. And Rapsy and Swifty are now going to have to be extremely careful about how they play, of course, as it is unsurprisingly the dual lane bot. But I'm just a little concerned that Gauntlet, unless they get several kills, he's going to be massively underleveled, and he won't be able to contribute too much during this game, just because, you know, that's the type of hero he is. He likes levels. Items are also obviously important, but, you know, once he's got that portal key, once he's got a little bit of tank, he's usually pretty okay. He's not a hero that really needs 400 GPM, but like if he sits at 300 for the whole game, he's pretty alright. What he needs more than anything is just experience. And of course, with the tri-lane down here, that's going to be a big issue. And then of course, the lane control here, that's pretty significantly in favor of the Legion side as well. So as you can see, Swifty level 2, Raps still level 1, but will hit 2 in a second. And even with Swift playing way up here, they're not going on him. So it's just really defensive play here. Anyway, in middle, it's going to be Bubbles versus Hag, and we've seen that matchup before. It's pretty even. Bubbles can certainly win this, and so can Hag. I think I'd favor Bubbles slightly a little bit, just because his burst damage is better. Nice take cover on the Hot there. But shouldn't expect to be too much action down there. Of course, this is a pseudo tri-lane with Tempest in the woods, so he will be able to come out every so often for a Glacial Blast, possibly looking to set up a kill. And he is invis right now, as Legion is about to lose some lane control here, but he's looking for a Glacial Blast, and with the spinning on Swiftblade, he's blocking Gauntlet over there, so they probably know what's going on. The only concern, of course, with Tempest is he's got to make sure he doesn't die, and there goes the Rev Ward, and so now he's got to get the hell out of there. So Legion losing lane control a little bit here, but of course still out-leveling their opponents, and just, I mean, we're almost 3 minutes in here, and we've seen 0 initiation from the Hellborn side, and they need to get kills here. Like, they have to. That's the whole point of a tri-lane. You gotta get kills. And because if you don't, then you're wasting a lot of the time and effort of these support heroes. And they're gonna, as we can already see, that experience bar is swinging pretty well in favor of the Legion side, as Tempest is in that jungle just solo farming, so. Really questionable here, I think. From the Hellborn side. Rapsy even playing super far up, there's just nobody going on. Up top, meanwhile, Slither versus Kraken. Slither should win this lane fairly easily, as we currently have Kraken at 6-1 compared to a 13-4 Slither, so that's not surprising at all. So Poison Spray goes out, Toxicity going to be in there, and he's forced to charge away, so he will be fine, but that's basically what happens with Slither's Toxicity, and the Poison Spray is so much harass damage that Kraken cannot stay in this lane for very long, and he's going to need a lot of health and stuff, so. There goes the health pod, he's still got one Tree Eater, so he's in a little bit of trouble there in terms of regen, but of course with the Observatory next to him, that'll help out a bit. As on bot, meanwhile, 6-2 Swiftblade compared to a 17-1 Gauntlet, so no surprise Gauntlet's winning this lane. And hook there into Rapsy on top of the Interpros ability, but Staccato Stun going to come out now. Stun Chain Reaction actually miss, and there goes the spin from Swiftblade, so he's going to do a bunch of damage with that. So a failed initiation there from the Hellborn side, as the chain reaction missed, and Gauntlet got a nice hook into the wrap, but the Staccato Stuns followed, and she's relatively alright. Meanwhile in mid, Hag forced to go back actually as Bubbles is hasted, and Bubbles is at 17-7 compared to a 5-2 Hag, so Bubbles certainly winning this matchup. And Majestic's on that Hag is going to port back middle, but he's going to have some issues here now. He's only level 4, Bubbles is level 5, should hit 6 relatively soon. Meanwhile on bot, initiation there, and Swiftblade's in some trouble still. Just going to be able to spin away. One more auto attack, not enough. He was down to like 20 health. Maybe even less. So he takes the health pot, and he will be alright. Of course, now no mana on anybody except for Torture. Master of Arms does not have anything. Nothing for Gauntlet. Master should have something soon. 82 mana, so he'll have a Charge Shot or a Fork Lightning up in a few seconds. But every time they jump and don't get a kill, that's, you know, going more in favor of the Legion side. Very well done for Bubbles. Puts the Kelp down. There's the Sonic Sea and the Shelter.
For the very first
time. So Squiz here on that Bubbles is going to be totally fine. My in-game song is a little high, I think. Let's do that and see what happens. Tempest coming in here for a gank. He is level 4. He is invis again? I can't tell. It's really annoying alt. Makes him look like he's invisible all the time. Nothing going to happen as they see him a little bit. Of course, there's a ward there spotting him out. Master of Arms was not here. Headed bot. And that is another invis rune, so he will be invisible. Master actually with 6 tree ears and a health pot, so lots of regen there, and not going to be able to do much with it. Tempest still farming over here, level 3 Master invisible, and Tempest going to be in a lot of trouble. He's dead. There's a charge shot, and the hook, and the push. The chain reaction misses. Dance Word goes down, but that's not going to be nearly enough, as he will fall. Staccato Sun's on the Gauntlet, going to try to save something, but Rhapsody will be alright. Swiftblade looking for a spin over here. Can get one on Master, and he's in some trouble now. Staccato Stuns will be available from Rhapsody, and he's Master's going to try to juke a little bit here, but they see him. Meanwhile, Bubbles Piss got Torture in the side, but Spin actually going to miss. Nice health pot there. And they're going to be fighting Fission, but he gets most of that health pot off. And Master's still in a lot of trouble here, as that's going to be also double tap and double tap there for Bubbles, so he's doing quite well at 371 GPM thanks to those 3 kills. Massively out-farming everybody, especially on his own team, as Tempest is just at 175 GPM. Understandable a little bit. He has to be slightly cautious considering the presence of this aggressive tri-lane, but you'd still like to be farming a little bit faster than that. Swiftblade, of course, can be forgiven because he's got nothing there. Did I turn auto skip pause on? I probably did. Oh, I did. Look at that. I'm remembering things now. It's amazing. So, Hellborn Tri-Lane's sort of reforming. Master of Arms is going to stack the Ancients first, and we'll see where he goes after that. But gold lead now in favor of the Legion side, as well as a substantial experience lead, with, of course, that Tempest in the jungle. Just much, much easier to gain an experience lead. And Master of Arms did head mid. Gonna try to help out this Hag a little bit here, as Bubbles is effectively dominating that lane. Bot actually getting a kill on the Torture somehow. Just a spin. The chain reaction gonna hit Rhapsody, but that's not gonna be nearly enough, so Swifty will be fine here. Go off the lane for a second.
What's my name?
Jeez, I was just waiting for that too. So he did take care of the charge shot earlier. There's a Kelp field, goes off on top. He's gonna try to just Shell Serve takes him out. Regen room pop there, and Hag not gonna knock it off. Sonar Scream actually not gonna hit him. Won't get any success either. So Majestic's having a hell of a time here. Trying to do something about this, and boy. Bubbles' Shell Surf is just wrecking her. That was my Facebook, don't worry about it. Bubbles gonna put some damage on this tower here with a Shell Surf and a Song of the Sea. Hag could die here, and that's probably what we're looking for. Actually, no take cover there on the stun. There's a Song of the Sea and the Shell Surf, and they're gonna pour it out and be totally fine.
Massacre!
So 5-0-0 on this Bubbles, and he is just stomping people. He's got a Kelp field up soon, 20 seconds, as we see it poured in from Swiftblade for no reason. I mean, he even started that, like, well after Bubbles was totally fine, so I don't know why that happened, but if Master of Arms hangs around here for the next 8 seconds, he's going to die as well, because Bubbles has plenty of mana, and he'll just drop a Kelp field on him and kill him. Yep, Master's leaving. Probably a good idea. Kraken gonna be over here. Will find Torture and drop your release Kraken and kill him. Smithix there on that. Master Run's initially going to help him, but realizing very quickly that Torturer died. As bot lane, level 6 Gauntlet, level 7 Swiftblade, so now all of a sudden Swifty has some control down here. Still under 200 GPM compared to the 275 of Gauntlet, so not farming very well at all, but now he's got some lane control. He can get CS, and Gauntlet cannot, because all of a sudden this is a little different. Switch Flash is available, there it is, and the spin. This could be dead Gauntlet, so there's the Staccatos. Rhapsody actually getting the last hit there. Bubbles coming in as well. It's going to drop the Shell Surf there, and this is a dead Master. Oh man. Just nothing Master can do about that. So 9-1 hero kill advantage here for this Legion side, and that's dangerous. You really can't, like, with a jungle on top of that, you cannot give them this big an advantage. Now, the only thing that's going to keep Hellborn in this game is the fact that they have Slither and Hag. So the carry potential is definitely on the side of the Hellborn. Swiftblade will do quite a lot, you know, and he'll be helpful. Tempest will do a lot. Kraken will do quite a bit. So will Bubbles. I mean, there's certainly help here for the Legion side. But in terms of pure right-click damage and hard carries, certainly Hellborn has two strong ones. So that's going to be a big deal. Tempest and Bubbles, Hasted Bubbles coming in here, looking for a gank. Actually, there's 4 down here. Hook going to hit nothing. And they're going to actually look for a bot tower push here, because they have the Ballista available. Acid Bomb coming out from Master of Arms, going to try to stop the push, but the dance floor from Rhapsody going to counteract that somewhat. As Bat Blast onto 4, in fact, spin from Swiftblade, so the chain reactions won't do anything. There's the ultimate from Tempest. Immediately canceled, pretty much. Bubbles jumps in here. He will fall as well, despite the take cover. Rhapsody also going to die, so 3-for-0 exchange here for the Hellborn side as they take out Rhapsody, Bubbles, and Tempest. And that's just a situation where the Legion side was forcing a fight that they didn't need to. Hellborn was clearly defending that bot tower. They brought the entire team. Kraken wasn't there, and I mean, there's just no reason to dive like that if you're up 9-1 hero kills. Like, it's fine. Just back it off, slow push it, force them to commit multiple resources here. Let Kraken free farm. Let him take top tower if he can, and meanwhile, he's doing just that. In mid, however, though, Swiftblade just way too low. It beats the Sonar Scream and dies. So, not sure what his plan was there. As bot tower is going to get pushed in, the Toxin Ward team helmet. Both going to slow him down a little bit, but this should still be a bot tower kill. Top tower also being pressured by Kraken.
The Hellborn has destroyed a Legion tower.
And top tower is half dead. Kraken obviously not a strong pusher by pretty much any sense of the word, but Tempest is in the jungle here, and once this elemental split, presumably he'll be going and putting him on the tower, help Kraken out a little bit. And if YLTP does not respond to this, this could be a top tower kill. I would like to see them, you know, doesn't look like it. It's now below deny range, so that's going to be a top
Legion
10.
had destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Triple stacked Ancients meanwhile going to be taken by 4 of them. So they lose their top tower and in exchange for farming this triple stack, which could have waited, in my opinion, but apparently Hellborn feeling like the triple stacks were more important. Certainly there's more gold to be had there, but whether it's necessary really I think is up for debate. As they will steal a double stack here. Get a bunch of kills out of that. So they're in the jungle, going to be farming a little bit. We'll stack this camp. And could run into Tempest and Kraken. Kraken, of course, has that ultimate, and if there goes the poison spray. So if they see each other here, this is bad news for Slither. Support is not quite nearby. It has the Master's Call, so they stay here with the Elemental and decide to back off. It's not really worth the engagement. Of course, not knowing where the rest of the Hellborn team is, it is a bit of a risk. And of course, Master of Arms does have that ultimate to help Slither out if he gets caught. But this is looking like the mid push here from Legion as they have 4 heroes. Swiftblade free farming bottom. Needs to pick up his GPM at 250 now, so certainly doing much better than he was. But not quite where you'd want to be. as Legion has maintained a goal lead, but now Slither taking over that top farmer in the game count from Bubbles at 370 GPM compared to Bubbles at 340, of course. Losing that onslaught streak in the bot was pretty big for Bubbles. Still farming extremely well, as Bottle a super early portal key on top of a Grave Locket. So Swifty pushing bot tower pretty much by himself, and there is a response here from the Hellborn team as the original Trilane comes back, hook right in onto him. That's going to be his death as he just takes way too much damage. So nice hook there from Sentinel on that
Massacre!
As once again mid gonna get pushed in. Hag here to defend a little bit, but not interested in poking out too much. Of course, the kelp field is available. Tempest coming in from the side, but so is Slither. And the entire, really both teams are here, except for Swiftblade, who's dead. Poison Spray gonna hit nothing. Tempest is invisible. That Rev Ward is the Legion's. So he's looking for an ult here. But Hellborn playing extremely cautious at this point. Swifty, I assume they'll port in at some point. Tempest backing off a little bit as his invisibility wears off. I don't have vision of him, but if they were to drop a ward for some reason, there's actually a Rev that's going to get countered. It's a good thing they put that down after Tempest's invis wear off as the Rhapsody takes a Poison Spray. DD on Hag, so she needs to get locked down. And it's basically just a stalemate here. So both sides are looking for something, looking for the engagement. Torture gonna run off the side, gonna get jumped here by Bubbles on top of the kelp field, so he will die immediately. Blew a pretty big spell in that kelp field there, as well as the glacial blasts, but certainly worth it to take off the Torture, as this is now a 4v5 engagement in favor of Legion side, and Tempest Ultimate is still available, Kraken Ult still available, Swift Slash is still available, Rhapsody is still available, as everything comes in, but down goes the Bat Blast. Nice release to Kraken on top of the Tempest Ultimate, not going to get caught, both Gauntlet and Hag are going to die. Master of Arms getting picked off in the background, he will fall as well. Slither's in tons of trouble here. Actually going to put a health pot down, do a ton. Chain Reaction going to hit Kraken and he's going to fall, so Slither will be alright. As Tempest and Bubbles back the hell out, so do Swiftblade and Rhapsody. Rhapsody with almost no health. A 4-for-1 exchange there in favor of the Legion side. As the Poison Spray is going to be onto Bubbles, will take cover. But there's a Shell Surf. Should be enough. A few more ticks of the... Oh, he's going to die. Nice take cover there. Still going to kill him. Heavy metal taunt there, very loud.
Denied.
So that ends up being a 4-for-2 as a result of Bubbles' death. But certainly a positive exchange there for the Legion side, as they get the mid-tower kill. It was denied, but at least it's dead. And that leaves only the bot tier 1 tower remaining. It's just below half health, so that should be a relatively easy push if they want to take it at some point. And the Hellborn, or Legion Ancients, excuse me, are double stack Rhapsody, about to triple them right here. And doubled Ancients from the Hellborn getting taken by both supports, so they'll pick up some gold from that. This Master of Arms needs to be careful, pops the power supply just to live. I'm looking to try to keep this stackable here, and it will be, as it respawns once again. So Similar's up here on this Gauntlet looking for a top tower push possibly, but we'll back off. Doesn't have too much support. And with no tier 1 tower here for the Hellborn side, obviously, if he does get caught, support is going to be slow coming. Bubble is doing some damage here to these triple stacks. Gonna get some help here from Rhapsody. Dance floor? There it is. It's an interesting combination. These two are really not particularly adept at killing Ancients. Even combined, this is taking an extremely long amount of time. crap, Jesus. Swiftblade pushing in bot, but a port's coming in. Back to 2. Gauntlet Rhapsody as well, or Gauntlet Hag, excuse me, as well as Master of Arms, who is already here. So Swiftblade can choose to back off. Certainly a good decision there. He's up to 288 GPM, as the Legion side is really pretty similar. 290 or so on both Tempest and Swiftblade, 350 on Kraken, 360 on Bubbles. Everybody's sitting around the same place, except on the Hellboard side, obviously much more staggered. 390 for Slither, 300 for Gauntlet, 215 for Hag, and then 163 and 107 for the 2 supports. So Hag in a bit of a pickle here at 215 GPM, not farming very well. 20 minutes, doesn't even have a light brand yet, and does appear to be going that route, as she has the Neophyte's Book and Apprentice Robe picked up. So this is going to be extremely late Grimoire for her, and that's when you always got to question the Grimoire pickup. Like, it's a great item on Hag, and it provides plenty of damage. Certainly, meanwhile, down here, will get caught and killed. That's what happens when you take that ultimate from Gauntlet. Anyway, so that Grimoire is going to provide plenty of damage, and that's certainly a great thing. But this late, you know, like at some point, it's just a little too late to get it. And if you want to sit there and farm for a while, and the question is, are you going to be able to have that opportunity as the jump in kill the end song that's see there from Bubbles? And there goes Tempest as well with the Glacial Blast, and that's going to be a dead Hag as she takes the Telfield stun. Actually, the Glacial Blast stun. Just Tempest picks up the kill there. So nearly surviving, but not quite, and that's not going to help her at all. 225 now. GPM on Hag, as she did get some CS before we just talked about it. Bot tower is going to be deniable with one more hit with the Ballista here. One more hit. There it is. So this probably will be a deny on bot tower. There it is. But it does fall nonetheless, and all the tier 1 towers are dead here for the Hellborn compared to just one for the Legion. They have lost only their bot tower, and both mid and top remain. Of course, neither of them at particularly high health, but they're still alive. So we'll see if some push comes in from the Hellborn side. Of course, we do have reasonably strong push with Torturer, and Chain Reaction is going to be there, hooked in onto everybody. Actually, Rhapsody's just going to fall there. Release the Kraken gets dropped on top of Switch Slashes, but not enough to kill either of them actually now, as both Torture and Gauntlet fall. Poison Burst comes out and deny on the Kraken, so well played there. Bubbles coming in from the side. Poison's Brandon Tempest, he's going to fall at some point, but Slither also dies, so Tempest is running away from Swiftblade for some reason. I don't understand that. Bat Blast coming out on Swifty, he's going to take the haunt damage, he'll probably fall. Bubble's going to fall as well, actually. Oh, man. That ends up being a genocide.
Genocide!
Somehow. All that poison damage coming out from that Wretched Hag, as well as Slither, of course, just extremely painful. So that ends up being a 3 for 5 there, massively in favor of the Hellborn side, as Hag lives, picks up a couple of kills, and that'll help her out quite a bit. Now, Master needs to be a little careful about this, because he's nearly dead. Corky is clearly available in Gauntlet, as he just uses that.
Hell no!
And he's got a Mighty Blade too, so looking for a Shrunken Head, I would assume. Bit of an interesting pickup, of course. There's a lot of stuns and quite a bit of magic damage coming out from the Legion side, but it won't stop Swift Flashes, and it won't stop a lot of Kraken's damage. Still certainly a solid pickup there, as Gauntlet likes to be able to be mobile and not get stunned out. Especially if he has the portal key, he will be jumping in and initiating, so having a Shrunken Head to make sure that you're not going to get stopped in the middle of your initiation is certainly a very strong positive. Master Arms Strider's Mystic Vestments and Power Supply, so pretty weak there. So is Torturer. He doesn't even have the Power Supply, he's got a couple of wards on top of his Striders. Slither has an Energizer stat of the Master already, and it's 386 GPM, first item stat, so that poison damage is actually lethal on his ultimate now. And with a level 2 ultimate, it is going to do quite a lot of damage, so he's going to be extremely potent. And getting that ult out is going to be extremely important for him. Hag, meanwhile, finishing up that light brand, has 2k gold saved up, so will be finishing off that Grimoire relatively soon, actually. as that last fight proved extremely positive for her, not only picking up a couple of kills, but getting some free farm time with the entire opposing team dead. And so her Grimoire won't be quite as late as one might think it would be. 25 minutes is usually when you want to have it, really at the latest, but she's not going to be too far off that mark, and considering how she started, that's reasonably impressive. Anyway, so that covers the Hellborn side. Over in the Legion Ghost Marchers on top of a Frostburn for Swiftblade, so presumably that's going to turn into a Dawnbringer, as he does have some mana issues. He likes to use the spin a little bit because that will let him farm faster, but then, you know, his relatively shallow mana pool and mediocre at best mana regen don't really allow him to do that consistently. So hopefully we'll see a Dawnbringer there, and that will provide him some much needed mana. Tempest, meanwhile, does go the Portal Key route, and he's somewhat close to a Shrunken Head. He is at 331 GPM, so farming pretty well here. Jump in for Slither, but he pops the Energizer, and he will live. Top tower did go down at some point. I missed when it actually happened, but it is dead. As Rhapsody... So anyway, Tempest, our Ring of Sorcery on top of Steam Boots on that Portal Key and Mighty Blade, so he's clearly going for Shrunken next, so he's looking for the jump, and of course once he gets that Shrunken, nothing will be able to stop his ultimate. So once he has that, he'll be very strong with the initiation. Excuse me, I think actually Gauntlet might be able to stop him with a hook. I believe that's physical. But it is going to be extremely awkward positioning trying to do that. Even with a Portal Key, it's just not easy to land Gauntlet hooks in general, and when you have to position it around a giant team fight, it's going to be even harder. So good luck to Senelix there on that Gauntlet, because he's going to need it, trying to stop that Tempest ultimate once he has a Shrunken Head. Rhapsody, meanwhile, Strider's a couple of wards, so playing that super hard support with the jungle just does not get anything, and has nobody to take the burden of warding, really. Bubbles, meanwhile, most of the way to a Hellflower, as he has 2 Arcanus picked up on top of a Portal Key, so Portal Key Hellflower will stop Hag in her tracks. And presumably that's what that's for, is a nice Ward of Rev here that goes down and counters not only the Ward of Sight, but another Ward of Rev here from the Hellborn side. So good D-warding there on a Fire Announcer. Playing that Wrap. And up top, Bubble's going to get picked on a Master of Arms, just...
What you gonna do about it?
Nemesis streak. It's painful. As Poison Spray going to come out of the creep wave, actually. Hellflower is finished there for Bubbles. Meteor gets dropped, and we're going to see a mid-push. Not a particularly strong one, as the Elementals haven't split, and there's no creep wave, plus the Poison Ward's doing something to clean up those creeps. But all 5 heroes are here for the Legion side without Master of Arms. Of course, this is an advantage for them. Tempest Ultimate is available, along with the Portal Key. Has to make sure he doesn't get hit by a Poison Ward, of course, because if he does, that will stop his PK. Slither Spray going to go out and hit, and actually Kraken jumps in with Portal Key. The response is a jump away, and there's initiation here with the grapple onto the Kraken, but he's pretty tanky. We'll drop the release of Kraken, I assume, on top of Gauntlet. There it is. So they're going to get taken down actually with a Bat Blast. It's 3. Wrap ultimate going to be nice as Bubbles walks right back into it. Tempest has nothing. He will not be able to get him down. Swiftblade probably the fall here. Yep,
Is it
so nice
too
scream
hot
there.
for you?
Justice to hit 2.
Triple kill.
Quad kill.
Quad kill.
As Kraken needs support away, so buyback there from Slither does quite a bit, as Majestics picks up a quad kill, and all of a sudden he's at 321 GPM. So we were talking to him about 10 minutes ago, going, oh man, his farm is so terrible, he's going for that Night Grimoire, it's going to be way late. Now he's got 1,800 gold on top of the Grimoire, 327 gold per minute. This mid tower is going to fall, as the Hellborn takes yet another
destroyed a
positive.
Legion tower.
I believe the only person to fall there was Slither. Yeah. So Master the initial pick, Slither dies as well, but then the rest of the Legion team falls. And they're now pushing it a little bit. They're not in a great position anymore. The second
The
tower
Hellborn
fall.
has destroyed a Legion tower.
Jump in. Actually, Gauntlet, I'm assuming he did not go the correct direction, because that's going to be some death for him. Actually, Poison Burst is there on Slither, and Kraken's going to die here. Does need to get denied, but it's not going to happen. Master Call going out on the Gauntlet, so Shellshock gets thrown out. Not enough to kill Hag. Glacial Blast here on the Slither. So he'll take a couple of stuns, but he'll be totally fine. And yet another kill in favor of the Hellborn side. Distiller picks off Kraken, and Legion are unable to respond. So all of a sudden, a game that was in favor of Legion for most of this is in favor of Hellborn, and 5k gold, just under 1,000 experience in their favor, and you know, this is the timing really where they're going to start to be more powerful on the Legion side, where Hag and Slither's right click is just going to be too big an issue to deal with, because Swifty's doing fine, not great, but fine. As it looks like now he's going for a shotgun head instead of finishing off that Dawnbringer, and I can't really blame him, considering all the magic damage and poison stuff that's coming out here from the Hellborn side. There's stuns, there's all sorts of crap that they don't want to deal with. So, you know, I think Legion has to be a little concerned here, because, you know, Hellborn have the two hard right carries, or right click carries, and that's, like, this is when it's going to become a problem. Hag has her Grimoire. She's going to start to explode in farm. Nighty on that Slither is already the top farmer in the game and has been for some time now. He's got that Staff of the Master. He's going to be deadly in team fights. Literally. Because he wasn't before. And it's this Ward of Sight going to get countered by a Ward grab there. Jumping onto Torture. We'll take the stun. Staccato stuns on top of that, so he'll pay for that with a death. Nice portal key there from Kraken. But I think what this is going to come down to is, can the Tempest Ultimate get stopped in time? And how big a Tempest Ultimate can the Legion side get? Especially Bubbles sniped an Ancient there, so well done with that Shell Surf. Because if Tempest cannot get a strong Elemental Void, then the Hellborn team will run over them. As Hag's going to get jumped here with the Hellflower, Penny's Run going off, it's not going to be nearly enough. Tempest ultimately even dropped on top of it. And I don't think that was necessary at all, but securing the kill on the Majestics, certainly a valuable thing. They won't have the Tempest ultimate. They still have released the Kraken, but no Calfield either. And Legion will move up here, take this mid tower. Switchblade's pushing bot, jumping here as the Gauntlet Block goes on to Tempest. Probably a bad choice. Laser Pack gets dropped. Nice grabs the ultimate, stopping a ton of damage. Gauntlet's been using a couple here, will fall. But so does Bubble. Swift Flash is coming in here from Swiftblade as everybody point out here. Omni Slash and spin under Torture. He will die. Swiftblade now in a little bit of trouble with Nighty chasing him down. Chooses not to continue fighting though. Mid tower going to get denied in fact. So 3 for 4 there, favoring the Legion side as they pick off everybody except for Slither. And curious choice of an initiation there. Gauntlet choosing to go put the Gauntlet Blast on Tempest. His ultimate was already down. So I don't know if he didn't know that or what, but that's definitely not what you want to do. Like, you know, once Tempest ultimate is down, he's a mildly annoying hero. He's got a stun, he can put the elementals up, whatever. Not really a big threat. Like, his big thing is the ultimate. That's the reason he gets picked up in games. And that and his ability to jungle. And obviously in a team fight, his ability to jungle is not really that important. So I would assume that Gauntlet just did not know the Tempest ultimate was down, because if he did, I can't imagine that was the correct choice of targets, especially with the release of Kraken available. Certainly Kraken could have been a strong choice. He has the Shamans though, he is pretty tanky, so that may have not been the best either. Rhapsody, a very viable target. Burst her down, prevent that ultimate from coming off, because that did save quite a bit of damage. As she managed to channel it for an extremely long amount of time. As over here, Torturing it picked up by the Kelfield and the Hellflower, but will not die as she has way too much support coming in. Nice Shrunken Head used there from Tempest, stopping all the damage from the Gauntlet Blast, as well as the poison damage from the Slither. Release the Kraken, get it dropped onto Slither here, and he's in a ton of trouble. Chain reaction on the Kraken. Kraken's actually going to fall. Back blast on the 3, and everybody's getting cleaned up here as the entire Legion team dies in a 4-for-1 exchange there. So Nighty on that Slither does die, but they pick up 3 kills. 4 kills? No, Bubbles lived somehow. Holy crap, why is Bubbles alive? I was sure Bubbles was dead. As he's gonna barely skirt out of there. Oh god, I am shocked he lived. So it's anyway a 3-for-1 exchange, still massively in favor of the Hellborn side, as they have retaken the golden experience lead. Experience just barely, but a 4.5k gold lead. So that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid for them. And Condor obviously being attempted here. We're just sitting here watching it, and this should be a pretty easy kill here for Legion side. Most of the Legion heroes dead. Monkey going to die.
Condor has been slain.
Token picked up on Hag, certainly not surprising. She is now the highest level in the game, at level 20. And still not out farming Nadia on that Slither, but doing her best to catch up, as she's at 360 GPM now, so pretty solid farm, 35 minutes in. You know, usually not where you'd like to be. You'd usually like to be 400 or 450 gold by now, at least. But of course, a terrible, terrible start, and she has substantially recovered since then. So Bubble's going to help farm. They're going to partially clean up the middle lane as he stacks the Ancients there. Regen rune top, nobody seems too interested. As of course, there's no vision up there. There's a ton of vision down here, around the Kong War pit, but even if Legion knew that was going on, they might have. There was no way that they were going to stop it. But farm out of the jungle going down here, and H is going to get cleaned up by 4 heroes now. And, you know, Legion, I understand their desire to farm after they've started to lose team fights here. On the other hand, that's not a game they're going to win. Both Slither and Hag will farm faster than pretty much anybody on this Legion side. Swifty's a pretty solid farmer, and so is Tempest, but Hag and Slither both have massive farming capabilities. Hag especially, of course, with that Grimoire, but Slither also with the Poison Wards, the toxicity, that does quite a bit of damage to creep, so he can clean things up relatively quickly. Bottom, meanwhile, Swiftly going to have to pop that Shrunken Head and port out. He will not be successful as Sheep comes out and he'll die. So Sheepstick there is on Master of Arms somehow. As he's got 230 gold per minute. I guess we're 37 minutes in, so that's what he's got. That's a little shocking. He's actually out farming his Kraken. Considering how often he was and how much he was getting picked off earlier, that's really impressive. So good for him, picking up that sheep. It is extremely surprising. Like I didn't even see him building it. And the last time I looked at him, he had nothing. So it's possible he's just pooling a ton of gold. Bot tower going to get pushed in here and should die relatively fast. Flip is available, I believe, but not. It is going to be easy though. Port in 2 now, so Lee's going to defend this. Jump here on Hag. See what happens. She manages to blink away, so they're going to flip a bunch of stuff down. She is Hellflowered, so not going to be able to take the ultimate yet. There it is, though, hitting 3 heroes, actually. Tempest ultimate on top of the release of Kraken. Going to catch both Hag and Slither. Nice wrap, all stopping a ton. Slither's going to fall here, but Hag will not, as she blinks out. Charge in attempt by Kraken, and he's going to be okay. So there's nice deny. Tempest jumping in here on the side. No mana for Glacial Blast, but Bubbles is following. Fork Lightning going to miss. And Tempest in a little bit of trouble. Actually, will try to port out, not going to happen. Taking the charge shot and the chain reactions, and he's dead. So I understand why he's trying to port right next to a creep wave. But ends up being a 1-for-1 there, as Tempest is traded for Slither. So positive engagement slightly in the Hero Kill department for the Hellborn, for the Legion side, but they lose the bot tower, so that I think swings it in favor of the Hellborn. And it looks like they're going to continue to push here. As Hag still has that token, so she's a little low, but not that big a deal. Dance Boy going down, trying to stop something. Hook in onto Swiftblade, actually, as the Bubbles comes into the song to see. Nice Bat Blast, actually going to take Swiftblade way down, and he's going to almost fall. Puts the Omni Slashes, gets a kill. Then the swing away. Not going to be enough, actually, as Torture falls. So does Bubbles. Token still up on the Hag, so
Payback.
she's pretty okay, as we have only Rhapsody and Kraken left here for the Hellborn side, but or for the Legion side, but Hellborn choosing that, you know, they've got Gauntlet, Hag's kind of low, so she has a token, but not worth fighting this. Let's just hang back. So So certainly that last engagement, the part 2 of that, was not favorable for the Legion side, considering they lost Bubbles and Swiftblade, one of their 2 top farmers, in exchange for the 2 lowest farmers on the Hellborn, those sports. So something swinging even further in favor of the Hellborn side, as of course they do have to win this game to stay in the tournament. And right now looking in good position to do so. Just going to get cleaned up here by the Legion side. And like I was mentioning earlier, there's certainly the favored team coming into this. YLTP is the top seed in this group. So if they were to pull out a win here, it wouldn't be surprising at all. It's actually more surprising that they lost the first game. And things recently have started to swing pretty significantly in their favor. They've mounted a pretty substantial golden experience lead at this point. We're 40 minutes in, they're tied 28-28 in hero kills, and that wasn't even close. There's a 9-1 at some points, at one point earlier on. And of course they have the late game pretty solidly locked up here on the Hellborn side with both Hag and Slither. And the sheepstick on Master of Arms. It's actually really, really, really valuable. I mean, being able to lock down the Swiftblade especially is huge, because Swiftblades they put out a fair amount of damage, but they're also squishy. That magic resistance or immunity with the spin is a large reason why he gets picked up, because all of a sudden you can't take magic damage. It helps you tank a bit, but he still takes a ton because of all that physical damage coming out. And just, I mean, not the tankiest hero in the world, and because he's a melee, he needs to be in the middle of the fight, so he's often taking quite a lot of damage. Tons of wards down here for the Hellborn side. Is actually where Rebel's going to counter this one. But the one over here not quite in range, apparently. And then Hellborn going to back out as they see the entire Legion squad roaming through their own jungle and clearing it, making sure it's safe. Can't get stacked here. Okay, Rhapsody just stood in this camp and blocked it. So whoopsie doodle. Ancient's going to get cleaned up here by 4 heroes on the Hellborn side. And Slither's off farming his own jungle. Jump in here from Tempest. Going to put the ultimate down on just Master of Arms, though. Release the Kraken isn't going to get dropped yet, but Gauntlet's in some trouble. Will fall here. Master's Call going on in Master of Arms. He's still going to die to the Shadow Suns in the spin. Torture in some trouble here. Put the chain reaction on himself. That's not going to be enough, though. Song of the Sea finishes him off, so all of a sudden a 3-for-0 pick in favor of the Legion side, and that was unexpected. I mean, especially considering the Tempest ultimate only caught Master of Arms. It was a little surprising how fast Gauntlet went down. The Omni Slashes from Swiftblade certainly doing quite a bit. Jump in here on Hag, but the Swiftblade shrunk ahead goes down, and so she also has a focus, but she's going to need to run away. She gets out, but gets poked back in, and Gauntlet kills her by dropping on the Kraken, and then Gauntlet falls, so holy crap. That was a terrible play from Gauntlet. Huge misplay. Glyph of Fortification is available, and Slither's still up, but the entire Hellborn team is dead for the next 8 seconds. And Torture won't be able to do too much. This is easy to be a tower kill. Probably Rakus. Voice branded too. Looking for a picker on his Slither. Everything's coming in on top of her, but Gauntlet buys back. And that's his second buyout, and now Legion's going to have to retreat a little bit. Shrunken Head coming out on Tempest. And he's running. He's not going to survive. Rap's going to try to port out here, and will be successful, I believe. Nothing to stop him, actually, and Bubble's going to shell circle away. Another port out from Swiftblade, so he'll survive. So, Tempest and Kraken falling there thanks to the second buyout from Gauntlet, and those 2 buyouts in one fight, by the way. And they do get the tower kill, but the buybacks prevent Rax.
Watch your
Oh my god. That was an awful play from Gauntlet. So, really, that was huge, because that took Hag out of the fight. She was well gone and totally fine. And between her and Slither could possibly have stopped the sorry for bad name. They could possibly have stopped even the counter kill. Yes, I don't know what bad manners was. Special Agent Gauntlet. This team being a little mean, but oh man, that's just yeah. Like he knows that was not a good play, and you know nobody's going like, "Oh, you're a bad player" because you did that. But it's just that's pretty funny. It's just like that's the shit happens, and you know sometimes you misplay or something like that. It's just extremely funny. So I don't think there's any real animosity as a result of that. But nonetheless, extremely amusing. I neglected to mention that Southern managed to go Grimoire. So it's interesting, second item Grimoire will help our farm quite a lot, and certainly contributing to 453 gold per minute. Still the highest farm in the game, but certainly curious. Assassin's Shred on top of that presumably will be a Genjuro next, just 1,000 gold off of that, so we're 45 minutes in, and this Slayer is pretty damn stacked. Over here, meanwhile, Shrunken Head goes off onto Swiftblade, will get stopped with the Gauntlet Blast, puts the Omni Slash down, trying to get some kills out of it. Not going to happen, as Master gets a little low, but not even close. 4 heroes here for the Hellborn side, and Uber Gimp there, and that Swifty just getting destroyed. And he's down for 75 seconds, so Legion needs to be a little careful now because the largest source of right-click damage for them is dead for a bit. And items once again, Soul's Bulwark and Shrunken Head finished up on Gauntlet. Sheepstick, as we talked about, for Master of Arms, and he's presumably taken over primary warding duty as he's gotten his big items. Slither here has that Assassin's Shroud Grimoire, Steam Boots, and Staff of the Master, so no Shrunken for him. I would imagine that's probably going to be after the Genjuro. Or maybe even next. You never know. Shrunken on Hag on top of the Hellflower and Grimoire of Power, so she's doing pretty well on farm. Congo are going to be killed here by the Hellborn team, and the Legion has no idea, no vision whatsoever of hit, and this is going to be done way too quickly for them to realize it. Last year over here, Headdress picked up on Torture, so presumably that's going to turn into an Astrolabe on top of the Pushbook Strider's power supply investments. Swiftblade will be respawning in about 5 seconds as there goes the big Mucky, and the token picked up on Slither actually as he drops investments. Curious they went to him and not Hag. And let's jump over here on the Gauntlet with the Sheepstick. Bubbles is a double damage rune, and Gauntlet's going to be in some trouble here, but now going to turn it around. Nice Master Scholar coming out, and
Well, allow me to
a little
retort.
too much commitment there from Bubbles. Almost got the kill, but not quite able to, as the team support from YLTP was there. Anyway, Swiftblade up here has the Abyssal Skull on top of Dawnbringer, the Shrunken Head, and Phase Boots. Tempest finishes up that Shrunken Head, has a Bound Eye Ring of Sorcery, and a Portal Key, so we'll be able to jump Shrunken and get an Unbreakable Ultimate, I believe, except for the Grapple on Gauntlet. As Hellborn is scouting the Legion jungle here, and there's vision, so they know they saw them come in. Swiftblade and Tempest both going to pour it out, and Sawyer will find nothing. And that Tempest on levels will get cleaned up here. That's a pretty decent source of gold, actually. Refresher on Tempest, man, he is farmed 332 gold per minute. And now he has double Shrunken, of course. Rhapsody has nothing. Strider's Vestments Port. So you got some gold here, but just spent a bunch of it on wards, I believe. Bubbles has that Sheepstick, of course, on top of Hellfire, so double lockdown there, as Swiftly is going to get caught a little bit, but spins away, and has the Ghost Marcher's Blink available, so here's the Haunt. Nope, just a Hellflower, no Haunt. Instead, so they're going to find the angle here, looking for the Poison Burst, does find it, but gets jumped. Release the Kraken dropped on top of it, now he's in a ton of trouble. Swiftblade going to take him out, there goes the token, and a nice Tempest Ultimate on top of Release the Kraken, as the Centelex also falls. Torch getting picked off in the background, second Tempest Ultimate, will pick off Master, and a nice wrap going to save Kraken. Oh, beautiful play there to save Kraken. Dying, actually, he might still need to deny here. Maybe not. No, he will live. Just barely surviving. So Majestic's on that Hag, the only one to survive here, as the Legion go 4 for nothing. So that refreshed Tempest Ultimate was a little surprising. And they they just managed to catch Slither and Hag in generally the same position, and that's never a good plan. So Legion going to push up the gut here. And this is going to be a dead Rax. Gauntlet, of course, has no buyback. Smith X on Magic Arms has one. So does Majestics, but, you know, of course, Majestics is already alive. And Master clearly not interested in taking the buyback here. They won't be able to swing to another lane because both of the secondary towers are still alive, but they should be able to turn this into Rax kill and then secondary tower kill as well. So it looks like bottom is particularly vulnerable, top is full health, so I think this bot secondary tower is going to go down. And there it is.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
So nice fight there from the Legion side as they even things up. Slight gold lead and a pretty decent experience lead as things are quite even here considering the stage in the game. You know, a 6-7k gold lead is not that high. And you know, as you can see from the sliders, it's just slightly in favor of the Legion side, and the gold is basically even. So 37 to 2 hero kills in favor of the Legion side. The resource control is essentially the same. And once again, it's the question of the Tempest ultimates, because like I said earlier, you know, it's going to matter. Will Tempest be able to get those nice ults off as his minions are going to get cleaned up a little bit here? And in the last fight, he did. 2 uninterrupted ultimates onto primary targets. Both of them hit multiple heroes. One of them was dropped on top of the release the Kraken, so that held everybody down. And as a result, it took 4 hero kills for none. So, if Tempest can do that, then the fact that Hellborn have the right-click damage to carry harder than the Legion doesn't matter, because the right-click is getting locked down, so they're doing 0 damage. But if he misses an ultimate, if it isn't available, if it's on cooldown, something like that, is apparently breaky cast at the end of this game. Up top here, Swiftblade gonna get jumped on. He will survive just barely. Sheepstick there going out. Onto Gauntlet. Release the Kraken gets dropped on top of him as well. Backlash it's everything's gonna be okay. Onto Slash, onto Hag. She will blink away. Right, it's 2. Bubble's gonna shell surf in over here. Put the take cover down to prevent some damage, but the poison burst gonna come out. Actually not gonna do too much to Swiftblade. His Slither will fall, but so will Swifty. Kraken jumping in here as Master's nearly dead, but Kraken dies instead. Solo ultimate hole there on the Tempest, but it's not going to be enough. Bubble's porting in, and he's going to be not found here. Looking possibly for a kill on somebody, as both Master and Torture are extremely low. Has Shell Surf available, and a port, so choosing to stay here. He will portal out, and if he finds Master here, then Master's dead. There he is, and now Master's screwed. There's the Sheepstick, a couple auto attacks, he's dead. He'll surf away, and the trees, so he'll be fine. So nice pick there for Bubbles to help even that team fight out, but certainly favorable for the Hellborn side, 3 for 4. And really that last pick was sort of incidental, so it was really a 4 for 2. And that's what I was talking about again. You know, the Tempest ultimate coming out onto a solo Hag. Tempest does not have enough health. He dies, and Hag just they didn't have enough follow-up to kill him. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that's not going to help, and that's the kind of thing that's going to result in a one-team fight for the Hellborn side if the Tempest holes are not on point. So I think a huge part of this game really is in Grindball's hands, because Legion side does have enough damage to destroy the Hellborn team. None of them are especially tanky. Gauntlet's kind of tanky, 2500 health, Barbed Armor on top of a Soul's Bulwark and a Shrunken Head. But nobody else is like, I can't kill you. I mean, Hag's got some health, Soldier's got some health, but neither of them are hugely crazy. You know, 13, 14 armor here on Hag, no magic resistance. Slither has 22 armor and 10 magic resistance, so he's a little beefier, but less health. You know, there's certainly enough damage here on the Legion side to take out the Hellborn heroes, and if they get locked down for like 8 seconds because there's a couple of Tempest ultimates going off, then that's plenty of time for everybody on the Hellborn side to die. But of course, if they're not locked down, there's just way too much damage from the right clicks, there's a little too much tankiness, and Legion does not have the DPS really to take out their opponents. So 54 minutes into this game, it's remarkably even. 0 gold lead, 20 gold lead. Like that's where we're at right now. We're almost an hour into this game, and there's a 20 gold lead, less than a creep kill. Like, that's insane. Experience is a little bit more in favor of the Legion's side, but one team fight and it's gone. So there's no question that both of these teams at this point have very, very even resource control, and it's going to come down to a question of will Hellborn's primary heroes in Slither, Hag, and Gauntlet to some extent, Master to some extent because of that Sheepstick, and now he's building a Storm Spirit as well. Probably to counter the Tempest Ultimate and Kraken. Maybe Pushback would be a better jump here onto Swiftblade with the Sheepstick. That box is going to hit a couple and Braxton gets destroyed. Tempest Ultimate on top of the release of Kraken is going to do a bunch of damage to Majestics on this Russian Hag, and she will barely die. Slither Ultimate coming out, going to hit all four, but Sunlight's on Gauntlet falls, so does Master of Arms and Torture. Everybody dead here for the Hellborn side, as Slither's the only one left alive, will be able to pick off Kraken, puts the Poison Spray down on the Swiftblade. And will he survive here? Bound Eye is available on Tempest, so if he tries to go invisible again, it's not going to help. Swiftblade actually porting out. Might not live. Nice take cover and portkey away from, or self-surf port away from Bubbles, as Swiftblade does end up surviving, but 1 on 3 there, and so there's like, yeah, I got this. So a nice combination there from Tempest and Kraken to drop the ults on top of each other, just barely get a kill on Hag, and of course Majestic does not have a buyback, so if Nighty wasn't able to hold that off, that would have been a top Rox kill, maybe even a bot Rex kill, and maybe game. As it is, Nighty manages to hold it off, and they will be respawning on the Hellborn side before too long. So once again, we see the power. If Tempest gets a good hole, he just needs to hit 1 or 2 of those heroes and lock them down. And then there goes the focus fire, and then they die. And if that happens, it's a one-team fight for Legion, and that certainly was. They took 4 for 1. I mean, I'm not sure if you can win a team fight much harder than that. So, and the one they lost was Rhapsody, who just got destroyed. But it still doesn't feel like Hellborn are out of this by any means. I mean, there's a golden experience lead now in favor of Legion, but once again, the sliders are barely to the right. It's not big at all. So really, Hellborn have to stop getting caught on both of those heroes. I think the Storm Spirit on Master Runs is going to be very helpful for that. There is a pushback on Torture, as the jump is here onto Master Run. Smithwick's going to fall very quickly, except their Hellborn team is here. Still dies. Poison Burst going onto a couple, but both of them have shrunken heads here. Majestics is going to get caught out with a nice Omni Slash, which is also no release onto Torture. Release to Kraken is also on top of him, but no true vision, so he'll be able to get away. Gauntlet going to get destroyed here in the back there. Rhapsody's still alive, puts the Staccato Sense down. She's the one that has the bound eye. So they're able to survive there, and that's 3 for nothing. No buyback for Hag. No buyback, obviously, for Gauntlet, as he's completely dead. And Master Rum's also unable to buy out. So Firebrand picked up there by Solaris, presumably he's going to jump. There's being jumped there onto him as well. Bound Eye coming in now onto Tempest, and he's going to try to get away with that. Jiro, not going to happen. Torture's caught out here by the Glacial Blast, push-books himself away, and he'll be alright. But both the heroes on the Hellborn side that are alive force back in, as Hellborn Tower falls on bot. Jump once again, chain reaction's taken, nice ultimate locking both of them down. So both of these heroes taking a ton of damage. Slither will fall, there goes Torture as well. And that's Genocide. Here's a Rax kill. And this should be enough time to swing top and take those out as well, as Majestic still has 15 seconds, 10 seconds here on Smithix on their Master Arms, but I don't think the 2 of them can take the entire Legion team. Tempest has no ult slash, he has one in 3 seconds, and they're just going to go throwing it. Screw the Rax. So Tempest ultimate is back up thanks to the refresher, and I'm sure they don't realize that yet on the Hellborn side. Nightbot doing everything. Majestic will get locked down thanks to the Tempest ultimate, and he's going to fall again. Sheepstick there on Master Runs, he's going to die, and this is GG's. So once again, it's the Tempest ultimates. Really nice ults here, as that's the problem. So they end the old-fashioned way. And YLTP going to follow the Team Cheesecake, no games to 2. That's really surprising. Not just because, you know, they were the top seed going into this, so you'd expect them to be the better team. They have been all year, but you know, they've been playing pretty well recently, and they played pretty well in this game. It's just that Tempest, man, Caught him out a couple too many times. There was too much focus on Nighty and Majestics there. Sunlink's not able to do enough, not able to make himself a target. And when Tempest got one or both of those heroes in an ultimate, and the entire Legion team focused them, they died. And that was the game. Of course, Majestics without a buyback at the end there was a serious problem. So very well played to both sides. Very, very well played to TCC. Taking an early lead, falling off a little bit in the middle, but getting it back at the end, finishing it the old-fashioned way, and this series will go 2-0 to Team Cheese.